Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And firstly, let me just give a shout out to all of you really that have subscribed so far. We have hit 2,300 subs. Massive, massive thank you to all of you that have subscribed so far. And if you haven't and you enjoyed the video, then please do help us out on our next route to 2,500 subscribers. Right then, it's another championship predictions video. I think you guys are starting to enjoy these ones, so they are continuing. But if you are enjoying them, please make sure to hit that like button as always. And let's get into them then. Let's jump into these predictions. And we start off with Blues coming up against Middlesbrough. And interestingly, since switching to a back five, Birmingham have got one win, one draw. Obviously, the draw coming up against Hull City, wasn't it, at the weekend? Middlesbrough followed up their 4-1 heavy defeat with a draw against Millwall. But with Millwall being the home team, maybe Middlesbrough would have wanted more, but I think that was a very good result. Millwall aren't an easy team to beat, especially at home. I think Middlesbrough will follow this one up with a win, and I am going to go for a 2-0 win to Middlesbrough. 2-0 win to Middlesbrough. We move on to Bournemouth versus Reading, and Bournemouth really now, especially after Huddersfield only managed to draw in the last fixture, starting to pull away with that second place position. Them and Fulham going up by the automatic slots looks more and more likely, especially when you consider Bournemouth have games in hand. Reading, on the other hand, as I spoke about last prediction, that they got a new manager, Paul Ince, come in. It looks to things getting a bit better. 3 defeats on the belt since then. And I can't see things getting any better in this fixture either. I think it is going to be a 3-0 Bournemouth win, to be honest. We come on to Blackburn Rovers versus Derby County. And now this is a massive game for both teams, really. Starting off with Derby, it looked like they perhaps were going to be the team. Everyone was getting behind their story a couple of months ago. Was Rooney going to be the one to take them away from relegation, even though they've had all these point deductions? Unfortunately, Derby are kind of doing relegation form, aren't they now? 4 defeats in the last 5. It's really not looking good. And coming up against a Blackburn Rovers team, I realised they had bad scoring issues. I didn't realise they've only achieved 1 goal in their last 9 championship fixtures. That stat is really, really alarming. And if they carry on, it's only a matter of time, unfortunately, for Blackburn fans until they actually slip out of the playoff picture. They definitely need a win here. I'm going to go 1-1 though. I think Blackburn get a goal, but I think Derby gets a goal too. And at the moment, evidence shows Blackburn, you probably won't back them to get any more than 1 goal. So I'm going to actually go for a draw. We come on to Barnsley versus Bristol City. And Barnsley, to be honest, they're only 4 points off Reading. And after their recent form, they've achieved 2 big, 1 draw and 1 win and 1 draw, I should say. They need to keep capitalising on that. They need to keep turning these draws into wins. And I do think it's going to be an interesting game against Bristol City. Bristol, obviously, the first win at the weekend after 3 straight defeats. But Barnsley, for me, I feel like they could be the team to get out of this relegation scrap. You know, there's something about them. Their form's starting to turn. They're picking up a bit of momentum. And especially at home, I think I'm going to go Barnsley win. I think I'm going to call a 2-1 Barnsley win here, to be honest. We come on to West Brom versus Fulham, and you've got to ask yourself, are things starting to turn now? Are things starting to turn at West Brom? They picked up a win, obviously, and then a draw. Have they turned a corner after their continuous defeats? They need to have turned a corner, and I think this will be a really interesting test against Fulham to answer that exact question. Fulham only achieving a draw at the weekend, but still looking convincingly safe at the top of the table and look destined to go up as champions. I was going to say, West Brom really do need a phenomenal end to the season. If, you know, they brought Steve Bruce in to achieve the playoffs, it looks very unlikely, but this is a really good game to prove that, you know, you've turned a corner. But sadly, I don't think that will happen for West Brom fans. Well, I say sadly, if you guys know the team I support, I'm quite celebrating that. But Fulham, I am going to go a Fulham 2-1 win on that one. Luton Town next against Preston North End. And Luton will be a bit gutted. Well, not even a bit, massively gutted. I spoke about their really good home form in the last prediction. 1-0 up against QPR, ended up with, I think it's an 82nd, 83rd minute defeat in the end. QPR getting a massive win over their playoff contenders in Luton Town. And I think this is going to be an interesting game. Preston have only achieved 16 away goals, though. And with Luton's home form this season, I'm going to back a Luton win. I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 victory. Coventry versus Hull now. And Coventry have actually really started to step up their results after a bit of bad form. Massive 4-1 win against Sheffield United at the weekend, and now just 3 points off the playoffs. They'll be looking at this fixture as one to really capitalise on. Coventry are a much better team at home than away from home as well. So I can only see this going one way. Sorry, Tigers. I am going to predict a 2-0 Coventry win on this one. Coming up, do you know what? This one, I'm going to say it. This is probably the fixture I'm most looking forward to actually watching and seeing what comes out of this one. It's Millwall versus Huddersfield Town. 2 teams that are on phenomenal form. 2 teams that have undefeated in 5. Huddersfield are also undefeated in their last 5 away games. Millwall are undefeated in their last 5 home games. This is a really fantastic fixture, to be honest, and I'm looking forward to it. I think there'll be goals in this one, and I think they'll share the points. I'm going to go for a 2-2 prediction on this one. But whoever wins this, if there is a winner, massive, massive result for that team. Coming on to Blackburn versus Sheffield United now, and I want to start off by firstly apologising to Blackpool fans. Just say Blackburn then. 2 reasons to apologise. One for that, if I did say Blackburn, and secondly, Blackpool, I didn't realise you guys were that close to the playoffs now. I think that maybe that has gone a bit unnoticed by me. But having said that, you have achieved 3 victories in a row to put yourselves back into that picture. I'm sleeping on Blackpool a bit, I have to be honest. It's only 6 points now off the playoffs. And they're coming up against a potential playoff contender in Sheffield United. And I don't know what to predict with Sheffield United because they did that amazing 4-1 win, and then they followed that up with an actual shambles of a 4-1 loss. It depends which Sheffield United team actually turns up. And I'm going to follow my gut here. I'm going to back a Blackpool win. I think I'm going to go 1-0 Blackpool here. That is my score prediction for that game. Another massive game in this playoff picture. Nottingham Forest versus QPR. And QPR will be absolutely delighted to start with. Their form hasn't been amazing in recent weeks. That was a massive, massive win for them against Luton Town, but they'll need to go and pull off another big away win to keep their playoff contentions on track. Nottingham Forest, it was a really good week for them, wasn't it? Of course, progressing into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and then following it up with a win at the weekend versus Reading. It was a 4-0 impressive win, that game. This one's going to be a really close game, and I don't want to just sit on the fence and call a draw here because I feel that's a bit of a boring thing to do. So I'm going to go 2-1 Nottingham Forest. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to back the home team on this one. I think it's going to be a really close fixture, though, and to be honest, could predict it other way. Coming on to Cardiff versus Stoke City here, and this is an interesting game in that probably one of those that you could call either way, to be honest. The last time they played, it was a 3-3 draw. So that was obviously one of the most entertaining fixtures of the season for both teams, really. I don't think there'll be that many goals, but I think the one thing that will stay the same compared to the last game where they played each other will be the result. I think it'll be a draw. I'm not going to go 3-3, but I'm going to go 2-2. I think there'll be still goals in this. I really do. So not quite a 3-3, but still a very interesting game. Coming on to Peterborough versus Swansea City. Peterborough, of course, in the relegation zone. They really need to start turning some of these draws that they've been having into wins. Obviously drawing the last 2 after some poor form, to be honest, before that. Coming up against the Swansea team who have had the better of Peterborough on the head-to-head. They've won 4 of the last 5 when these teams have faced, and they've drawn the other one. So unbeaten in the last 5 times they've come head-to-head. I think they'll continue that, to be honest. Peterborough really need a win and really need to step up on it if they're going to keep their, hopes of staying up alive. But I just have a feeling they're not going to be the team to get out of that relegation battle. I'd probably, unfortunately, sorry, Peterborough fans, maybe back Barnsley and Derby more likely to do so than you guys from what I've seen in recent form. So I am going to finish these predictions with a 2-1 Swansea win away from home. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the predictions. As always, put your predictions in the comments as well. And also, please do make sure to hit that like button and get us on the road to 2,500 subs, our next major big target. Hit that subscribe button as well. It costs absolutely nothing. And hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.